You see, React initially was built for the web. So React as a library was used to build web pages. Then React Native came along to be able to do the same thing we did on the web, but also natively on mobile. So in React, we would use something like div or a p or image tag, all HTML tags to build components. But on a phone, there's no HTML because it's not the web, right? The idea of React Native is to build for a phone, and on a phone, there's no HTML, there's no browser. I mean, there is, but we're building native apps. So when you use something like div with React Native, well, you can't. You have to use views or text or something like this. So on the web, you would often use something called React DOM to render something on the DOM or on the web page. With React Native, use React Native to render something on the mobile app. Initially, React had the library React DOM for the web, but they eventually got split into two. So on the web, you would use React and the React DOM library, and on mobile, you'd use React and the React Native library. So if we go back to our example here, you may notice a few things that are different than if you were using React on the web. One is that obviously there's no React DOM. Instead, we're using React Native. Then we notice that we're not using HTML tags. We're using native React Native components. So view and text instead of a div or a p tag. Next, we see that we have this thing called style sheet. Style sheet is a way that React Native does styles. So we use this format of stylesheet.create, and then we create a new style class using this object notation. Now you'll notice here that we're not using the regular CSS way of writing margin top, which will be margin dash top. Instead, we're using camel case, which is native to JavaScript. And we also don't have any idea of pixels here. Again, React Native simplifies things for us. It just says 50 and it tries to optimize it based on the operating system, based on the screen for us. So it makes things a lot simpler. But once we learn this difference between working with React on the web and working with React on mobile, all the other principles are pretty much the same. It's just components with other components, using them together to build interactive UI.